Welcome back, everyone, to season 2 of Pass the Syrup. It's episode 1 with 2 of the originals, the
Mm.
OGs from season 1. We've got Angie Cooney of C Residential. She's from Rugeley, which, unless you're from Rugeley, you've never heard of Rugeley. It's somewhere just north of Birmingham. Um, Outright champion at the Estes Award, which basically means she's got a lot of friends and family that will vote for her and pretend they did
Yeah.
business with her. But genuinely great agent. Angie, how's life? How's it going?
Yeah, good. Busy, mad, January. Yeah, great. It's just crazy. I can't believe we're halfway through January already. It feels like we've only just left the Esters in October. Not just come here again.
That's one hell of a hangover, Angie.
Yeah, it is a hangover, and it's also it's an insight into Angie's world that everything is pinned back to the Estes.
It
Angie, what
is.
did you do at the weekend? Well, it's been 17 weeks since the Estes, so everything. Commitment. I love it.
Well, it's not really all of that, is it? I was just sort of making conversation then, but never mind. But yeah.
Oh, wow. So everyone listening, watching, it's 8 minutes past 11 on Monday morning on the 20th of January, which means we've got Angie in a polite mood.
You
Give it
have.
20 minutes, she'll warm up and the abuse will be flying. I'm very confident in that. And so over to our other guest, Steph Walker of the Agency UK, in case the branded paraphernalia didn't give it away. Steph was on episode 1, actually, of this, the first ever podcast episode. But what you may not know, although of course you do, the irony in saying you may not know is that Steph was recently voted one of the most influential people in property. Now it was there were only 73 votes for all top 4, but what it really means is Steph is one of the most outspoken people you can have the pleasure of interacting with online. High quality, entertaining, and quite often abusive content. I love it, Steph. How's
Fair
it
enough.
going? How are you?
I thought I took 2024 off, really. So on that basis, this is going to be interesting. First poddy of the year. Let's do it. Let's have it.
All right, let's do it. So let's get into it. Subject where so if you are an existing fan, all 6 of you, we are only going for like 30, 45 minutes. We're not going to just, us lot waffling on for hours. We're going to do one major subject. Today's major subject, in true estate agent style, is around Rightmove. And so Rightmove are in the trade press today, and they're telling us that asking prices are up 1.7%, roughly £6,000. The strongest start to a year in terms of asking prices in 5 years, which I always find funny. 5 years, not a very long time, is it? We peaked in 2024 prices, actually May 2024, which is maybe interesting. Some people don't realize that. So new stock is up 11% year on year. The headline I read is new stock is up because buyer demand is up. And then a little bit further down, it said buyer demand is up 9%. So new stock is up more aggressively than buyer demand. And this is where I think you two may have fun. Boxing Day was a really big day. The Boxing Day releases.
Yeah.
So there's a quote. I won't read the quote because it's a quote from a friend of mine at Rightmove. But Boxing Day was a big day this year or last year, and that has spurred everything on. And it means that it's rainbows, unicorn, and sunshine for the rest of the year.
Well, that's bollocks, isn't it? Because it really didn't happen. The thing is with Boxing Day, it's everyone's pissed off, bored, and deciding whether they're getting divorced. That's why they sit there and they go scrolling. That's it. It's either that or Tinder. So I just think it's just a non-starter. But never mind. Gets people talking about it, doesn't it? As we are now, of course.
But I think that the maddest thing to me is that the big proponents of the Boxing Day launch are those who aren't open on Boxing Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, could it be any more ridiculous? You'd actually think that folks like TA UK, EXP, those kind of guys that, essentially handle a lot of their own needs themselves, they'd be the people that promote it. But they're actually not promoting it at all because, one, they want a bloody day off. But we know it's people who've spent yesterday with the mother-in-law and can't possibly think of having to do that again for another year.
Exactly that. It is exactly that. And it's bullshit estate agents trying to get people on, trying to get the figures up or whatever it is that they need to do to satisfy the people that feed them, I think. But yeah.
So, sorry, go on, Ange.
It is busy. Without a doubt, it's hit with a bang. I think we're on 19 sales, 19 instructions, 19 sales, and we've got others that are going into the pot. So to be honest, I'm not going to moan about it, but it's nothing to do with bloody Boxing Day. That's a load of bollocks.
But so, as I said earlier, it's the 20th of January. So you're 1 for 1. You're 19 days back in the business, 19 sales, 19 new instructions.
Yeah.
Before we even get onto Rightmove, what's the secret to your success, Angie?
I think it's just pent up demand, to be fair. Is it a secret? Not really. I think it's just about consistency. I say it all the time, and I sound like a boring old bag, but it is about consistency. Just deliver it. Just keep going. It doesn't matter whatever the noise is. Just keep doing what you're doing really well.
Cool. I've known Angie for a couple of years. The humility right now. You've done 19 deals in 19 days. I say, what's the secret? And she says, it's pent up demand. Any chump could have done it.
But it is. The pissed off. I mean, God, let's talk about solicitors. That's the worst part. My sales pot's getting bigger and bigger. It's just ridiculous.
All right. Well, let's explore that.
What's
happened? Why are the solicitors moving backwards?
I don't know. I think that everybody, my opinion is that everybody thinks when I started an agency, which obviously not that long ago, much, the average house sale was 6 to 8 weeks. Now we're on 16, 20, 24. It is ridiculous. And that's because everybody's made it into one big industry where everybody gets a bit, I think.
So when you say everybody gets a bit, do you mean agents are taking cash out of the conveyancer's pocket, and so the conveyancer's not making as much, and so this quality is going backwards?
I do think the quality is going backwards, 100%. You know, 16 to 20 weeks is fucking stupid. I mean, I agreed to sell. I've been doing my sales progression this morning. I agreed to sell on the 4th of December. So it's a really short chain. So I've been trying to get on the neck of this bloody seller solicitor to send the pack out. Sent her another shitty email this morning, and she said, oh yes, my client care paperwork came back. The client paperwork's been back for 4 weeks. It's crap. But anyway, never mind.
Well, no, but you're right. I mean, you've hit on something that is, I mean, every time I'm on LinkedIn, there's another rant about conveyancing and the process and the fact that we were one of the first nations to bring property purchasing as a form of tender, and yet nothing's moved on.
Yeah.
We haven't evolved. Steph, your agents all over the country. Is this a localized thing or is this national?
No, it's national. I said last year that I'd never used the word egregious so many times in one singular year.
What was that? Egregious.
Egregious. And every single time I used that word, it was in relation to conveyancing. And I actually did a little bit more real estate last year than I have done for the last 5 years. I am obsessed with it. I'm back living in my hometown, and so it's just good fun. And I think there's a couple of things. One, the general public misunderstand the concept of conveyancing hugely. And I think the estate agents could do themselves a world of good just by spending a little bit more time on education at that first meeting. Whether you want that business, now that's mad, isn't it? Because most conventional estate agents want all the business. Again, conversation definitely for another time. But whether you're wanting to win or going to win that business or not, a little bit of education at that point would really, really help you. Now, I'm not somebody that necessarily minds the whole referral fee kickback scenario when it's for the right reasons. I posted on my estate agency Instagram just last week. Choosing your property team is super, super important. And sellers don't necessarily think about that, but they absolutely should. But when it comes to getting a recommendation from the estate agent about what solicitor you should use, I don't even think as a punter you should care whether they get a referral kickback or not. but ask the reasons why outside of that they are referring that conveyancer. So do they have any understanding of time to sell? So from the point we go under offer to moving day, what's an average ratio that we'd be looking at with that particular firm? What are the reasons above and beyond just time? Although we know that's one of the most important metrics because time kills deals. Above and beyond that, why is that estate agent recommending that solicitor? And if you feel really confident in the answers that that estate agent has given, regardless of whether you're paying an extra 300 quid for the privilege of that introduction or not, I find massively irrelevant, because the answers that you get will also tell you, I think, whether you've picked the right estate agent or are about to pick the right estate agent or not. Referral fees aren't the problem. Again, I've opened up LinkedIn this morning, and that's a conveyancer referral fees. None of this is the issue. The issue is, what are you in business to do? Why are you in business to do it that way? Who's going to benefit from that? And are you getting in front of those clients that's all going to benefit from how you do things in the right way? If people started with those questions in mind, I think we'd be in a wholly different place. I don't think anyone can sit here romantically and say that we're going to change the industry overnight, but by engineering the part of it that you've got control of, we can help.
But so I can hear people all around the country, all 6 people that watch this episode, shouting, we only have control over our little piece. And once it gets under offer, the conveyancing process, I mean, don't get me wrong, I categorically disagree. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Our average conversion is 9 weeks, because we drive it. That is literally our job. We segment the business into 3 sections. Lead generation, so find your business, get out there, make sure you're putting stuff at the top of the funnel, get it sold, which is what everyone in the country does. Everybody, for some reason, I think, especially when they come from a larger, maybe a corporate background, think the job is answering the phone, doing a viewing and agreeing a sale. But my 8-year-old can do that, because if you want to buy it, they're going to buy it. There's a bit of negotiation and back and forth, and I'm not expecting my 8-year-old to be, top 10%, but absolutely top 20% based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
The back end, the final third, is once it goes under offer, that's when the work begins.
The problem is, though, Ben, you're only as good as your
Weakest link
in it. And I'm quite really, I know my onions, and I'll just keep going, but it's so frustrating. I
think the problem is that I don't want to sales progress. I don't think that should be necessary if everybody does their job. Now, that's not me saying I don't sales progress, because that was probably one of my most controversial posts last year, and that just caused all sorts of ruckus. Obviously, I quite clearly have to, but I only feel that I should step in when things aren't necessarily happening the way that they should. But that then is the problem, because I have to step in when things are becoming a problem. Solicitors get up in arms.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one where it's a modern estate. I've sold, I mean, it's modern, 10 years old, just come to 10 years old, and townhouse, a freehold townhouse, leasehold garage, the norm. And and you've got some sort of bloody half-wit of a tit who's sitting there, and she raised like 20 inquiries. She then raised another 15, and I intervened on Friday and went, Saturday, sorry, and I went, well, your client's ringing me. He's first time buyer. Whilst I understand their inquiries, there's a lot of them. And she replied today, went, no, there isn't actually. I only rely, the people don't understand just how, just say difficult, wasn't the word she used. And I put, yeah, I know, I've sold loads of them. And I still get back to the point of, why are you raising all these inquiries? Bang me another one. It's to do with an indemnity. I feel like going, love, listen, I only sell houses for a living. Let me have a go. I'll have a go at your job. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm sure, not being disrespectful to the many conveyancers out there who do a great job, but there's some shit out there too.
Yeah, I mean, the classic is, careful those stones in that glass house, because as an industry, we got some fodder knocking about, dragging down the rest of us. But back to the original where this started with the lack of quality. So, Steph, to your point, you don't want to have to step in and drive a sale and, in essence, chase. It sounds crazy. If you were to explain this to an alien, someone arrives something arrives on this planet. You explain our process, that we have adults, every step of the way. There's no children, it's all adults. And every adult in the step of the process has a job that they're being paid to do. And they've spent quite often, from a conveyancing perspective, spent some time to get there. Decent agents have normally spent some time to get where they are. Everybody knows what they do. And yet, nobody wants to fucking do it.
What is it then? So what amount of time, I'd love to ask this question to some conveyancers, what amount of time do they allocate for each case? Because if it's just a thing where it's a bit like keep throwing that mud at the wall, but at some point that doesn't work. They have to see the process through. You know, there's no different. I mean, God, we had a bloody boom. We've had all of that going on. Yet it seems to have ground to a halt. Are the more conveyancers got out? Are they taking on more than they can chew? Are there not enough conveyancers in these little firms that are doing referral fees?
Isn't it just the same as a estate agency though? And this is where we see the whole breakdown of the problem. We're charging shit fees. So we're having to do volume.
Some are, Steph, some are.
Absolutely, yes. Probably nobody on this screen, but as an industry, we charge shit fees. So we all have to do volume. We don't have a niche customer. We don't even have a sense of, you know, from start to finish what we actually stand for and why we do what we do. It's all a load of absolute bollocks. And conveyancing is the same. So somebody, though, has to say it has to stop. So somebody in a conveyancing firm has to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm putting my fees up. I'm not going to try and do business with everybody. It's going to be a struggle for a couple of months. But when I'm out the other side, I will be doing half the work for the same amount of money and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I don't.
Well, it is as simple as that. You're absolutely right. Reduce the volume.
Thing is, I don't dictate conveyancing fees. I don't care. I'll refer people if I think they do a good job.
But conveyancing fees have to go up.
Of course, that's it.
But it's, the wild concept. Let me give you a really quick example. This is hilarious. This is absolutely not what we're going to talk about today, but this is fine. So we work with a business that prepare the conveyancing in advance of a property going under offer. And so, I mean, the entire process from start to finish. And I'm certain I've spoken to you about them before. Steph, we don't see each other that often, so I probably haven't spoken to you about the company. I'm NDA'd, so I can't say their name. But if anyone wants to contact me, because this company is, for me, is the future of conveyancing, and I can do an intro, I just can't, for some reason, nobody talk about it because they don't want someone to steal the concept. But they will, at point of instruction, we will be instructed, they will be instructed. They will appoint a conveyancer and the conveyancing will begin. If we get under offer in 4 to 6 weeks, at point of going under offer, we can exchange in 4 days if you're cash, in 3 weeks probably if you're having surveys and you're arranging finance. So this is breathtaking, right? As a product, I think it's genius, it's clever, it's simple. All the best ideas are really, really easy. So I the founder, met with him, introduced him to our network. He went around. I'm conscious now that I'm about to sell someone in the network down the river. Such is life. So he's talking about what's going on and he's pitching to a group and he's talking about what they offer. And someone asks him what the referral fees are. And he says, well, we're not that model. It's not a referral fee model, but we can give you these timeframes. And I won't get really, really specific, but this particular area or region of the network, their abortive rate, extraordinarily high. Let's call it that. Like painfully high to the point where you're thinking, this doesn't add up. This is not a model. It's not a business. So painfully high. And the ones that do get through, very, very long time. So he says, we can get you cash at bank in 6 weeks as opposed to 20. And our abortive rate is less than 10% because when people sign up, they know what they're getting into. They know in advance what everything is. The chance of falling through, as you said earlier, Seth, time kills deals. So there's no time to kill the deal, but also anything that we didn't know at putting it under offer, it's on the table. We're dealing with lease issues. We're dealing with everything up front. The money he would have made for this particular person, or the difference it could have had, is astonishing. He said, oh, if there's no referral fees, though, I just don't think it's right for us. And I'm just like, this is what we're dealing with.
So we've introduced something similar. We've been where our agents wish to, because everybody's self-employed, just get myself an IR35 issues there.
Steady, on camera.
No. So we have an option where people can refer to 2 solicitors. We've done the bulk of our deals with them, and where they're involved on either side, we're under offer to completion 9 to 10 weeks average, which fits in sort of with what you've got there, Ben. We've now introduced a contract ready proposition. Mm-hmm. So again, everything done up to searches at the point we're listing the home. I've just done 2 myself in the last 8 weeks. and we're at completion in 3 weeks, both finance deals. But brilliant, absolutely, let's go. Now, I do get a referral fee on top of that, which is fantastic for me and adds to my bottom line. But this has never been with us taking off the conveyancer. So I've always said, this needs to be your fee that you're comfortable with. Then we get a bit more. Because actually, I believe us putting this whole program together, my seller and my buyer is benefiting. I should still get some of that. Is my kind of thought.
You're bringing more value to the situation.
Well, absolutely, 100%. But I just, that, Ben, that's the typical estate agency mindset. Again, it's all this sort of front-loaded activity. It's just like, let's get the sale, let's get the listing, get the sale. I am not interested in any of that. I want to get to fucking moving day.
Yeah.
Well, I was at it was like I was with you. Do you remember we were at that event, the Property Mark event, where we were looking at different tech?
Me?
Ange, no, yeah, in London, yeah. Blimey, I realise I'm pointing at the screen. That could mean anyone, couldn't it? What a moron! Sorry, girls.
Yes.
It's first episode back. I'm just finding my feet. So we're at this event and we're talking to someone and we're talking about conveyancing and different approaches. And in the coffee break, I had a chat with him and said one of the ideas we played with in our business and it didn't progress, although I still think there's legs, is we incentivize the conveyancer to get the deal done in a certain amount of time. So instead of taking a referral from them, we give them a referral. We don't want 250 off you. We'll give you £250 if you get it done in 28 days. Now I know I'm coming from a blessed position.
That is.
What's the blocker? So I don't want to come across like a really pretentious high-end agent, but we're in London.
What you're going to?
Price. Well, I'm not going to.
I was going to say, cap fits.
Yeah. All right, girls. Fucking hell. Jeez, Louise. So our average sale price is 2.2 million, and we're significantly above your average fee, but we're lower volume. So it's not, it's not all champagne cocaine, just Wednesday to Friday.
Champagne cocaine.
That's this is London estate agency for you. But in seriousness, the absolutely most important thing is to get the deal done and over the line. And that £250 for the sale of property where sale price we're dealing with, it's just a no-brainer. It makes so much more sense to incentivize. And the person, I can't remember his name, the one who was there who was talking about conveyancing, but anyway, he was like, well, that's interesting. But I could see it in his eyes. He was like, oh, don't you'll blitz my product if you make that common practice, because I no longer have a product. But there's so I mean, there's so much, there's such I think a backwards way of looking at, can I make that much more and put my deals at risk? It's just astonishing the amount of farms that get recommended that, everybody knows. There's no smoke without fire. It's not made up. It's just, okay, girls.
Right,
well, I'm happy with that.
We were going to talk about
Rightmove and asking prices and Boxing Day, and we've ended up on conveyancing, and I think that works just fine. It's beautiful. So just to clarify your position, both of you, because it was the start of the podcast, you're both big on Boxing Day launches. That's a thing. Massive. And Tinder, Ange, clearly.
Well, it's not the older generation. It's not Tinder, is it? Don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, I'll play that card. Oh, I don't know what it is. Yeah. All right. Sure. All right. Okay, girls. Well, we've done our headline subject. Why don't we shout out, Ange, who's your favourite estate agent? Who's the best agent out there? What are you seeing that they love? What do you really?
I've got two, actually, because I went down as you were talking, so I thought, oh.
Is it going to be me and Steph?
James White belong. I love his marketing. Bloody, what a class. That is gorgeous. And Steve Green from Simply Green.
Oh, I don't know Steve Green. Oh, see, this has worked already. Simply Green. Is that another Middle Earther?
Or... bloody called Jesus. Now, if I've got that wrong, what did you say? The what?
Are they a Middle Earther? Are they another Rugeley sort of like middle of nowhere?
I met him. He's
still using carrier pigeon.
Loop, actually, but no, he's great. Really good.
Yeah.
I like his marketing. You know what I'm like? I like marketing.
So we're going to try and encourage. And go on, who?
Can you see the panic in my eyes? I'm thinking.
Can see it, yeah.
Fucking name that, I'm sure it is. Anyway, carry on.
All right, I'll carry on. I'll fill.
Carry on talking.
We're gonna every episode talk about great agents, and ideally, well, is it? You got it right? Has he got no? Yeah, interesting. No shirt on. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Tinder again, at it again.
Simply Green, very good. Like the marketing. I like
Okay.
marketing agents.
Yeah, so do I. Absolutely. And I think we should be highlighting and pointing out those that do it really, really well because it will drag everyone else along for the ride. I think you look at Australia, you look at North America, what they do from a marketing perspective versus what we're to achieve here. We've got to pull everyone along. If we're going to get these fees up, we're going to deliver something better. Okay, so that's two great shout outs. They'll be in the show notes underneath for the 6 of you that are watching. Steph, who you got?
So of course I'm going to pick one of my own,
Ooh.
nepotism, but there's a real purpose behind this because I don't see lots of younger, with no disrespect to anybody on this screen, younger role models for estate agency.
Ben, obviously.
I've got 3 kids. I mean, I'm 24. They just don't sleep a lot.
Uphill paper round. It's fine. All good.
Yeah, it is, believe me.
So no, I'd like to shout out Mia Evans, who's in her mid-20s, actually is now a self-employed estate agent. She's a personal estate agent running her own business. Phenomenal achievement within just 2 years. I know we don't all need to talk about money, but 6 figures, all those sorts of things. So for somebody that works in North Liverpool, in her mid-20s to be earning that kind of money, I think is exceptional. People talk about her being one of the most expensive estate agents on Merseyside, which I think is absolutely just music to my ears. And she's not yet brave enough to be front of camera, but she does some really good marketing in terms of her property videos, photography, all those sorts of things. So I think if there's anybody that are, in your early 20s thinking, what do I do next? I'm a sales neg. I'll have to kill off my branch manager before there's any chance of me stepping up in this world. Go and have a little watch of Mia.
I'm looking at her Facebook and her Instagram. Yeah, she's not on front of camera and she should be. She's a pretty girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but hold on. It's not all about being a pretty girl. She should be front of camera because she's good at her job.
Yes, it is. That is. I mean, that's a whole new thing, babe. Off the camera, we'll talk about. But she's obviously confident enough when you look at what her content is. She's confident enough to put it on. She's now got to turn that round.
And I'd just say to anybody, like, if I thought, if I could go back to being 21, 22 and have social media as an opportunity for me and my business, now I'm 38 this year, my life would be totally different. Like, I just think, 16 years on, that's mind-blowing, the opportunity that the younger folk have got today. So get in front, get yourself following people like Mia, who are absolutely should be your role models.
Sorry, Steph, what's Mia's surname?
Evans.
Mia Evans.
I will say though, hang on a minute, Ben. I will say that she needs to get herself on that camera because you've got to be the personality because you can't just be faceless at the minute. And I'm looking at all the posts because I'm a bit of a twat and I will just keep follow everyone.
100%.
Her photography is really good. Her videos are brilliant, but she's losing something and she loses it. The fact that you can just scroll by and just see lots of
honestly, Angie, you've done me a humongous favor here because finally it'll be somebody other than me saying that to her. So
Mia, if you're watching this,
she's faceless. She's faceless.
I mean, the personal brand story is the most important story you can tell. It's the story that ties you to the world and your friends and your partners and your relationships. I think get that on camera. That is the game changer from being Steph's favorite agent who's doing amazing things to being one of the UK's.
Yeah, but what she can't do, Steph, and you'll know this, is walk along the canal and go, oh, I've got loads of time to walk me dog. When really the clients that you're looking at are sitting there working their tits off for you to walk along the canal.
It's got to be authentic branding. Yeah. It's got to be relevant.
It's about walking along the canal with your dog, is it? I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Unless you throw your dog in the canal, because that's quite entertaining.
Yeah, that would be entertaining. You know what I'm saying, though? I think that a lot of the self-employed models, particularly the very early days, were all about how much free time do you have? It's
it's a load of bollocks.
That's not true. So we say, oh, look at this, sell the dream. Yeah, walk along.
I must say, though, Angie, I actually think that there's a lot of people in the self-employed world who are completely misguided. And
completely.
There's one side of it where they're trying to sell this work-life balance, absolute nonsense. So forget about that. And then there's this other side where actually they're just recreating the high street issues. So they're still doing volume. They're still charging shitty fees. It just nonsense to me. So I think there's two subsets here. There's self-employed estate agents, and then there's personal estate agents. All personal estate agents are self-employed, but not all self-employed estate agents are personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's... Sorry, go on, Ange, you go.
Ben and I have had this conversation a lot because it absolutely yanks my chain. I can't stand it. Build a pyramid scheme, and that's exactly what's happening, right? I work my fucking arse off, and I've worked my arse off for 30 odd years in agency. It's never changed. The volume check, you know, it's great now. The world of the social media and all of that is just incredible. And getting back to your very final point, I know you're going to make, Ben, what would you do different, or what do you think's great?
Go on. Yeah, let's go straight into it.
Absolutely, get me fucking arse. Get as much as you can, get as much practice as you can getting on camera, because they'll buy the person before they buy the brand becomes secondary after that. And irrespective whether you work at Connells or C Residential or anywhere, it's about people. And that's what that Mia didn't sound awful, that's what Mia needs to do. But stop, you know, when they're there, oh God, it pisses me off. And that's why I scroll past all this shit agency now, because I think, bring something to the table. It can't just be about, whoa, I'm having a cup of tea today. And I do all of that, but there's messages.
You have a cup of tea?
There's messages like that to get out to people. Be engaging.
My old favourite is I get to do the school run. And I'm like, are you joking? You get to? It's like a punishment. Why would anyone want to do a school run? That is not a recruitment headline. And if it is, you're going to lose them in 3 months when they realise doing a school run's awful. Back to High Street. But yeah, agree with everything you've both just said. The only thing I would add is that, Steph, you highlighted, if you're in your mid-20s, look at what Mia's doing. I would say, if you're in your mid-30s, if you're in your mid-40s, if you're in your mid-50s, and you're not using digital marketing to its full potential, like, wake up, it's time.
Yeah.
I said something last week that digital marketing was about to have its day 10 years ago. Like, it's arrived. Like, if you're not on it now, you are behind the curve. But it's easy, you can easily catch up, but you just got to get on with it, pull the trigger.
And I don't care how old you are, it doesn't matter. Look at me, my ripe old age. But I just think I only grabbed hold of it by the bollocks about 5 years ago. And now that's what I build the business. Well, the business has got bigger and better because of that.
It's a no-brainer, Ange. If you can,
and it isn't ever too late. So, this isn't me blowing my own trumpet, but I moved back to my village where I grew up in after 8 years of being away last January. I did a little bit of selling, very busy year, got a little bit busier during autumn. I wouldn't have to tout again, and I can probably list 4 or 5 a month at 1.5%, which for my local area is a high fee, just based on what I've done on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram and a bit of Facebook community groups, and that is probably 12 months maximum of work. So that my tip would be, it's not too late, but also just make sure you're hyper local, because that means you don't have to do volume at all, because all your boards are right local to you.
I have that conversation all the time about setting up, and I am just repeating what other people that greats have told me, and that is, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of London, they will all have the hyper local markets, and just tap into it. Just tap in.
What I would caveat that with, though, because this is the advice we give everyone in the network, anyone in the team. Be present, be local, communicate on things that your target demographic, target audience are likely to be interested in. So the obvious stuff is property, but also the other obvious stuff is these 5 things are happening in Rugeley in February for you to take the kids to. Oh, well, that's interesting content if I have a family and I live in Rugeley. So there's lots of things you can tick. The only issue is actually when you get into London, the targeting, or in any city, the targeting and the locality stuff becomes much more tricky. You end up with people all over the place. But that being said, we are all in on organic social. If you want to throw some money at it, you can make it work, but you don't have to go overcomplicate it. Organic social media with the use of video, no brainer. Say no brainer without providing enough context, but that's, in our experience, Steph's built a business in a year. We in 5 years.
Oh, Ben, what are you showing me there? Why have I got something there? Oh, it's all right. It's obviously me. Something's come across.
What is going on here?
It's Tinder again.
Tinder's back up. Ben, what are you showing me? There's the social media clip.
What are you showing me here, you little tinker? Not you.
Listen. I've got a reputation to uphold here. Can you do away with a little, please? Okay, girls. Final question. If you were going to set up right now, I don't know if we just answered this question.
Yeah.
Have we done it? Is it going to be? We're going to do the same stuff. Okay. Away from what we've just discussed, one other piece of advice that agents should be looking at, should be tapping into, could be doing right now, that maybe you're recommending to friends, colleagues, network. What would you do? If you didn't have social media, what would you be doing?
I mean, like the old days.
The good old days. I mean, we still do all of that stuff, but
They'd be absolutely relevant, and just the leaflet drops, the blooming, just sponsor anything going, be everywhere. That's what I used to do. Just get everywhere. I was like a rash. I probably still am.
You are, yeah.
I am. But I just think it's the way to make yourself relevant. Get into the stores, get into sponsoring everything going. It doesn't have to cost a great deal of money. You've just got to be there. And as you've just said, be present.
Steph?
Do we still have the internet? Just not social media.
You can have the internet then.
Oh, yeah, you're from years ago where they had the internet. God.
So home.co.uk, type in my hyperlocal postcode, get some data and some stats. This is what I'd do personally. And I'd write a really nice long form letter, and then I would print it out 2,000-3,000 times. I would pick the top roads where I want to be known for selling homes. I'd pick a couple of transient ones as well, just because we all need to make some money. And then I would use Rightmove Plus to go and have a look at anybody that has withdrawn from the market over the last 5 years and not yet gone on to sell, and target those people with a really in-depth, personal, local, data-driven newsletter, because I know that's going to attract clients that I like to talk to, and I'll get really good fees from them, and they'll listen to me on pricing.
And how much does that piece of content stand out versus the stuff you see getting sent out now? I mean, not there's so much as there used to be, but arguably it's easier to stand out now with direct mail than it ever has been.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, you can write a 2 or 3 page letter and it'll take you a good hour and a half to pull that together. But that is still relevant if you go in hyperlocal to several thousand homes. Just be clever about where you're posting them to.
I think people read the letters though, because I know you're a big advocate of letters, aren't you, Ben? I try and do postcards, quirky postcards. I think when I set up my set back up lettings again, I'd like an old shoe with a toe sticking out. Is it the right fit?
I mean, the letters that I've been writing, so I did a little bit of tout last year, but again, it was very specific. So I'm writing to a lot of business owners. You know, they're going to be 45 to 65 in age. For me, I found that demographic in my village here, I can walk to 3 Michelin star restaurants. So, you know, up the north. I always like to put that in. But it's a certain probably demographic clientele that I'm writing to that I find really enjoy that very sort of tailored and in-depth sort of approach.
And yeah, I guess that sort of aligns with a lot of what our target audience is as well, the demographics that we work. So we've got 11 neighborhoods that our business talk to every 2 weeks. But there's 6 different communications over a quarter, a couple of letters, a couple of flyers, market reports, and something very seasonal. And the market report is extraordinarily detailed. The letters are normally about we're normally in the area offering valuations, or we've got specific buyers looking in the area, which are always 100% genuine. So we do a lot of business off market. I hate that term, but it's just what the consumer understands. And the flyers are often encouraging people to get a valuation for their home based on what's just happened in the market. So, you know, Rightmove is saying asking prices are up. I wonder how much more yours is worth than it was last year. Check it out. Those sort of things we get, you know, stick them in the funnel. But it works really, really well.
You need to have like a little, just like a hook, and the hook shouldn't just be related to offering a free valuation. Say things like, you know, the recent sale on your road. Are you interested to see how that's affected the equity in your home, or the recent withdrawal, or something that's happened in the press? So how is this thing that's happened has had an effect on your equity? And some of you are going to want to have a chat with us about that. And if you do, come to us.
Yeah, that So we're avid door knockers. I know lots of people don't go for it, but you knock on every door. If you've got nothing, if you started your business today and you've got nothing to talk about, there's just about 1,000 things you could knock on that door and have a conversation about that are so relevant to local homeowners. So yeah, big advocate for that style of communication. Girls, it's been amazing. What a start! What a
Yeah.
kickoff!
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, you
top.
knocked it out of the park. Final thoughts? Oh, I love putting that question on people because they've got no idea it's coming. Ange, can you give us a sentence about swearing?
No.
Good. Come on, girl. Steph, what's your outlook for the year? We're gonna have a rock and roll in 2025, or
Absolutely. I think don't get me wrong, we'll have peaks and troughs as ever in the industry. But I think lots of people that I talk to in personal estate agency, business owners, people working in conventional agency, it has started off busy. My advice would be to load yourself up with stock, almost be a little bit too uncomfortable, because we're going to have a bit of an upset end of March. We know that. Beginning of April might be a bit quiet. We also hit that stamp duty holiday right into Easter. So that just upsets the apple cart for a bit. Have a little bit more stock, because the people with stock are going to get the sales. And if you are niche and you are low volume, you're going to have time to talk to all those lovely clients week in, week out, so that they don't get disgruntled.
I think my last bit really is I think it's time to, while you're busy, try and find the time to take stock. Look at the fat that's in your business, start to trim it off, start to just make little tweaks, because I think it is coming and we all know it's coming, and that it's the stupid people that are sitting there blithely carrying on, because it will get harder. And agree with, like Steph, I've just got a massive marketing campaign to get more stock, and that's not normally like me. I don't need to, because I normally carry 50% sale, 50% stock. It's always 50-50 near enough. But yeah, interesting.
you hold the keys, you do the deals. That's the way.
Amen. I'm gonna
All
get
right,
back
girls.
to
Well,
t-shirt.
you've been epic. No surprise there. I've been fucking wonderful. Everyone, if you liked it, let's have some engagement, some likes, some follows. I don't know whether we're even posting this yet. It's so early into the journey. See you all soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Later. Bye.